Hey, what's up, you guys? Today I'm coming at you with a dupes video. I painted my nails yesterday, this beautiful color right here, and I noticed that the polish I used for my fingernails, which was a $10 polish I got at Ulta, was the same exact, like, dead-on color as a Marc Jacobs polish that I own, which is, of course, more expensive than the Ulta polish, which got me thinking that I have multiple dupes for high-end products that I've seen, through my collection, and I wanted to talk about them. So I have 5 different dupes that I have found. They may be exact, they may be slightly different in the formula or whatever, but the color payoff is the same, I feel. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about them, starting with my nails. This is the color, what is it called? Tall, Dark, and Rich from Whim. This is a new brand they have started carrying at Ulta. Why does that word sound weird to me? Carrying at Ulta. And I actually just hauled this not too long ago. This is the first time that I'm wearing it. And when I was applying this to my nails, or even when I just pulled it out and looked at it, it reminded me a lot of a Marc Jacobs polish that I have called Petra. It looks like this. And there they are side by side. I'll turn it so that the color is more visibly seen. I know the lighting is kind of not the greatest right here for you to really see the difference, but they are, like, just looking at them through the bottle even, they have the same kind of like glitter to them. The Whim polish is like a darker, like, plummy bronzy tone, but it's got like pinkish glitter to it, and the Marc Jacobs one is that same like plum bronze, but it's got like some gold shimmer to it. So the undertones of them are kind of different, obviously the red and the gold, but I think the overall look that they have on the nails is like exactly the same. So I'm kind of torn because I feel like I shouldn't have bought this one because I already had that. But honestly, I feel like the Whim polish applied a little bit better than the Marc Jacobs one. Again, I've just put this on last night, so I'm not really too sure of the wear time. But just as far as, having it on my hands now, it looks good. It hasn't chipped yet, which is really nice. And I feel like the price difference between the two, again, the Whim one was $10, and I feel like the Marc Jacobs one is somewhere in the 20s. That stands out for itself, and I think that the minor differences, such as the glitter shifts in them, is it doesn't really matter as far as the price. I think they are pretty close. And again, this is Tall, Dark, and Rich from Whim's Fall Collection and Marc Jacobs Petra. So, yeah. The next one, I actually considered returning the higher end one because they are so similar and they are like almost spot on, but for some reason I just didn't return it. And they are 2 eyeshadows. The first one, the higher end option, is the Kat Von D Metal Crush eyeshadow in the color Synergy. This color is just like a bronzy brown, just a normal everyday brown color. These shadows, if you've worked with them before, are really, really buttery and nice and high quality shadows, but the color is exactly the same as the NYX Prismatic eyeshadow in Bedroom Eyes, which has a little bit of a different finish. This one is a little more metallic-y, but I don't know, I think the colors are exact. And I swatched them right before this video, and I was just like even more bummed that I didn't return it. The Kat Von D shadow is $21, and the NYX one, I'm pretty sure, is like $7-ish, give or take. So like a third of the price. Granted, I think you are getting The Kat Von D is 2.8 grams, and the NYX one is 1.24 grams. So you are getting less with the NYX shadow, but I think, like, despite the amount differences, it's more rational to go with the NYX shadow. I'm going to swatch them both, just so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see that the shadows are pretty similar. This finger is the NYX shadow, and this finger is the Kat Von D shadow. The NYX one, I think, is a little bit darker, but they are so close that it's almost, like, stupid to have both of them. I would definitely recommend the NYX shadow. And even though, like I said, the Kat Von D shadow is really buttery, really nice quality, the NYX shadow is not, something to laugh at. Like, I think these prismatic shadows in particular are really good quality. And in fact, there's another dupe coming up in this video of a NYX prismatic shadow, so stay tuned. The next dupe that I really, really stand by, and again, I think it's kind of stupid that I have both, the dupe and the higher end product, is the MAC lipstick Whirl. This lipstick, ever since Kylie Jenner started wearing it, it's been so, like, lusted after by everybody. Everybody likes that, like, mauve-y, dusty rose lip, including myself. I love it with certain makeup looks. Obviously, I'm not wearing it today. But this lipstick is, like, the craze for it is ridiculous. It is really pretty, but it's also $16. And sometimes $16 for a lipstick is a little insane. I actually bought the dupe first because I saw this dupe online, and I bought the dupe first and then caved and was like, oh, I kind of just want the original. So stupidly, my love of makeup took over my rationality, and I went and bought it. I've talked about this dupe before. This is Maybelline's Nude Nuance is the dupe for Whirl. This is one of the creamy mattes. It's got the, the smoky-looking container. And this is what that color looks like. It's pretty dead on. Let me hold them next to each other. They're pretty, like, they're pretty close. I think Whirl might be a little bit deeper, but, if you're on a budget and you want that, like, mauve-y, trendy look that everybody's after, I mean, why not, right? So I'm going to swatch them next to each other. This one here is Whirl. It always weirds me out when people have their full lipstick out and they're like, I'm going to swatch it. It's like, no, you're going to break it. But there's Whirl. And then I'm going to put Nude Nuance right on the top. In fact, I think the Nude Nuance one is a little bit creamier than Whirl, just by swatching it on my hand. So there's the Maybelline one, and there's Whirl. They're a little bit, like I said, Whirl's a little darker, but you can still, like, on the lips, I feel like they look the exact same. I don't know. I just think that they're so close that if you're on a budget and you still want that Kylie Jenner lip color, girl, it's so easy. Pick up the Maybelline. And like I said, it seemed creamier just from swatching it on the hand, so why not get in on it? Look at this tissue. It's all covered in, like, swatches. Anyway, the next one is a little bit, I feel like a little bit of a stretch, but I think they look relatively similar. And this, or the higher end product, is the Benefit Coralista blush. This is like a little sample size that I have of it. This is just a kind of glowy, peachy blush. I feel like it's, when I first looked at this, I thought, oh, Luminoso from Milani. But I feel like Luminoso is a little bit more sheer. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's close, but it's not quite. And this is just a really kind of glowy, peachy blush. And the one that I have been using lately that I really like, that reminded me of Coralista, is from this Hard Candy Contouring Face Trio. You can get Hard Candy products at Walmart's. And this is in the shade 3 Times a Lady. And of course, I'm talking about the blush portion of it. It looks like that. there are the two of them next to each other. Again, I apologize for the lighting. It's really hard to see the products. But I really do think that these are, you know, really close. The blush here is really glowy. In fact, I don't even know why they pair it with this really amazing highlighter, because you get enough glow from the blush itself. And then, you know, the Coralista blush is, you know, super corally. It's not as glowy. Like, this is the Coralista, and this is the Hard Candy one. But on the skin, when I swatched them, like, next to each other, they are, like, you can barely tell the difference. And again, you probably won't be able to see because these, like, colors are light to begin with, and the light is hitting them and making them not look as good as they are. But they are, like, spot on. And I just think that Coralista itself, like, if you were to buy it in a full size, I got powder all over my boobs. If you were to buy Coralista itself, I'm pretty sure that these blushes or box powders are like $26, I think, and the Hard Candy ones are like $8 or $9, possibly. I haven't bought one of these in a while, so I'm not sure what they're going for exactly, but they're about like $8 or $9, under $10 for sure. So the cost or the price difference, you know, is really nice. And, you know, you get all the products in general. The highlighter in here is kick-ass. So I love this one in particular. I've been using it almost every day for the bronzer and the blush. And again, this is called 3 Times a Lady, and then Coralista. And then the last one that kind of just came out of left field. I was looking through my Vice palettes, because I'm debating whether or not I should get the Vice 4 palette. It's so pretty packaging, but I'm kind of like, do I need it? How many times am I going to use it? It's expensive. Do I really need it? So I was looking through some of the colors. In fact, I used the Vice 2 on my eyes today, and I was looking at the Vice 3, and what kind of initially drew me to this palette in the first place. And there were a couple colors in particular. Majority? I don't know. This row right here that has all the pinks and purples and those kinds of colors. Specifically, this red down here. You can see the indent that it has in here. This is the color Sonic. And this is just a very nice metallic-y kind of Marsala color. And I was looking through my single shadows to see if I had anything kind of like that color, and I came across this NYX Prismatic shadow in the shade Fireball, and it's almost exact in both the metallicness of it and the actual color itself. This is the shade right there. You can see how metallic-y red that is. I love that color on the eyes. Something about burgundy Marsala colors. Love it. And then the Urban Decay Sonic. This is a little bit darker, a little bit more burgundy than the Fireball. I feel like the Fireball is a little bit more like bronzy red, if you can tell the difference. But I think they are super close. I feel like if the NYX Prismatic shadow and the Kat Von D shadow in Raw Power had a baby, it would be the Vice 3 Sonic color. And like I said, I know this isn't an exact dupe, but I feel like if you wanted to get your hands on the Vice 3 and couldn't, but you wanted to kind of build up a collection of shadows similar to this palette, I definitely think the NYX Prismatic shadow in Fireball is a good kind of like simulation of Sonic from the Vice 3. So I'm sorry to keep blinding you with this palette, but I really, really like that color. So yeah, those are just a few of the dupes that I've been looking at lately. it kind of makes me reconsider why I have all these higher end products when you can get drugstore ones that are just as good, if not a little bit better. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If I find any other dupes within my makeup collection, or just experimenting with different makeup, I will let you guys know. But until that time, let me know down below what kind of dupes you've been finding. I love it when you find things like that, but then I also hate it because you're like, why do I have, this $21 shadow when this $10 shadow is, just as good? So yeah, let me know down below what dupes you've been finding, or what dupes you found helpful from this video. Maybe it was the MAC Whirl. I feel like that's the most popular one, because even I was looking up dupes for it before I bought the actual one. So yeah, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a beautiful day, and yeah, bye.